They must be compelled by a united and determined women's movement to do justice in this matter.
100 years ago, Emmeline Pankhurst led the suffragettes in the fight for women's right to vote. But a century on, women still have to take to the streets in the same manner to fight for equality. Thousands of people turned up to support the Women's March as crowds gathered in Manchester to celebrate International Women's Day. This year's theme is Press for Progress as they call to action for accelerating gender parity.
It's massively important still now 100 years on from women getting the right to vote, that women's voices are heard and that we do stage things like this, because it means that women get involved from right across the city and they feel like they're part of this movement to try and challenge the government and challenge other authorities to make sure that women's rights are on the top of their agenda.
Groups like LGBT women, as well as those representing different religions, stood shoulder to shoulder as they marched the same historic route taken by the suffragettes last century.
But having the opportunity to work with Linda and the coalition, to me, is a little bit like working with Emily Pankhurst and the suffragettes, because they're really still fighting for rights. So, you know, the fight for rights isn't over yet, but it started really well with the suffragettes.
Today, the women behind me are wearing sashes and rosettes to fight for women's rights, just like the suffragettes 100 years before them. Their message is clear and they'll be joined by many women across the world.
The protests were echoed in front of the Trump Tower in New York, all the way to Rome. While there were also marches in the city of Montreal, all of them with the same aim.
The message I'd try and send out is actually we're not going to achieve equality unless we all work together, and that includes men as well. You know, men and women have to work together and recognise that actually our gender has nothing to do with how much we should be paid, has nothing to do with what our quality of life should be, and until we get that right, we are going to struggle to keep making progress.
Someday